In our last class, we have discussed about the topic that is first war of Indian independence for the grade 5th. In our last classes, we have discussed about the freedom movement, freedom struggle, and important leaders who sacrificed their own life to provide or to get the freedom for our nation. Today, in our last classes itself, we have discussed about some important points or features about the British rule, about the East Indian companies, and entry of foreign businessmen, foreign trading companies to our nation, and how they have settled their own territories. They have settled their administration system in our nation. Today, in our last class itself, we have discussed about the entry of British. The entry of peoples of England, that is East India Company. The East India Company is a trading company which is registered in the London. It got a permission from the Queen Elizabeth and started their trading in India. Later, they have started to establish their own trading centers by getting the permissions of Indian rulers, and they have started their trading centers in some part of India. Later, because of improper political management, because of some improper successors of Aurangzeb and some other Indian rulers, they have got an opportunity to establish their own economic centers. Later, they are converted their economic centers into forts and cities. They have deployed their armed forces in the forts, and the important person, a Nawab named as Sirajuddaulah, opposed the British government, opposed the East Indian Company to deploy the armed forces in their forts. He opposed building of forts and deploying of armed forces in the fort. But in 1757, he opposed the deploying of armed forces in the forts and building of forts. Because of this reason, there was a war taken place that is called as Battle of Plassey. The Battle of Plassey is fought between Robert Clive and Sirajuddaulah. Robert Clive is a British person, or he is a British governor who is appointed by the East Indian Company to look after the business of India, business of East Indian Company in the India. But because of his political interest or because of improper political management in India, they have started to rule the India. They have started to establish their own trading centers. Later, those trading centers are converted into administration centers of India. So, Sirajuddaulah has a little idea about the future of India, because he is a Nawab, and if he let the British people to enter in our political system, they are going to take it in their control. So, Sirajuddaulah opposed the Robert Clive. Why he is opposed the Robert Clive? He is opposed the Robert Clive because of building of forts around their trading centers and deploying the armed forces. He asked the British. He opposed the British. The British are just the traders. They are just the businessmen. They have no right to build the fort on their trading centers, and they have no right to deploy the armed forces in their trading center. Because of this, the Battle of Plassey was taken place in the 1757 between Robert Clive and Sirajuddaulah. Robert Clive fought with the Sirajuddaulah, and Sirajuddaulah was defeated. Sirajuddaulah lost the battle, and the British East India Company was established. The British East India Company was established. The Indian East India Company was established by the Robert Clive, and they started to rule some parts of our nation. The part which is ruled by Sirajuddaulah, went under the control of British East India Company, and later the British started their diplomacy. I mean, the British peoples are very well educated and they are very intent in their political knowledge. So they have created diplomacy or unity among the Indian rulers. I mean, India is a country with a lot of cultural diversity, and there are many regions and many kind of kingdoms in our India. So they used this point. I mean, the Indian rulers are not equally. They are not equal. There are many different between the Indian rulers. So if we create any diplomacy or if we create any disturbance among them, they are going to fight each other. By that, it is very easy to take the administration of India to the control of British East India Company. So they have formed a rule, or they have made a plan, that is divide and rule. The British divided Indian rulers according to their category or according to their religion. I mean, Marathas, Mughals, and some many other rulers. They fought themselves. I mean, the Indian rulers itself fought themselves. They quarreled or they made war against themselves itself. By that, the diplomacy of British worked very well. Because of this diplomacy, the British take under the administration of India went under the control of British East India Company. See, after the 190 year of British East India Company's administration, after 190 years of British East India Company administration, there were made many political changes in our nation, because the British controlled the most part of our nation. The British took under their control for the administration. By this, dissatisfaction among the Indians taken place. I mean, see, if any outer is ruling our country, is getting very much profit from us, but we are getting very big loss from them, it is very common issue. We are going to face the dissatisfaction among the Indians itself, because the Indian rulers suffered a lot. I mean, they lost their kingdom, they lost their businesses, they lost their armed forces, and if many other rulers who defeated by the British government are lost their kingship also. Some of the rulers who are surrendered to India, they are working under the rule of British. So it creates the dissatisfaction among the Indians. I mean, the dissatisfaction is created among the Indian rulers as well as the peoples of India also. So the peoples, this dissatisfaction can be divided into two major parts. I mean, two major issues. That is, social. It causes two major points. That is, one is social cause and second is political cause. The term social cause means the dissatisfaction which is which is accepted or which is said by the peoples. Why? Because the British are majorly peoples who came to our India just for the purpose of business. So they started their business by getting cotton or some very important spices from our nation. So when they are going to control our nation, they are going to force the peoples of India, or they are going to force the farmers of India to grow the cotton in a large manner. Cotton and indigo are the two major crops they need from the India, and they export them to the England, and they send back the finished goods from the England to India. They are sold for a highest price, but raw materials in cotton and indigo are purchased from the British people with a very low cost, and the finished goods are very high in their price. By this, Indian farmers and Indian agriculture has restricted for the cotton and indigo, and they got very big loss from the British government. In the same way, the finished goods which comes from England are very cheaper when we compare to the goods which are weaved in the India, because of they are going to use the machineries. The cost is very low. So when we compare to Indian made goods, that is little cheaper. But when we compare to England itself, it is little high. We are sending our raw materials at a very low price, but we are going to receive the finished goods at a high prices. So because of their mills, many Indian factories are closed or stopped. Why? Because of this social dissatisfaction. And if any Indian person is interested to start a cotton mill or a factory in which he can produce the cotton cloths, that is completely prohibited in India because of British government. The British peoples or the government of British completely banned of manufacturing of cotton cloths in India. And heavy tax, heavy tax is exposed or heavy tax is paid by the peoples of India. So these are the some important dissatisfactions among the Indians. In our next class, we shall discuss about the political causes. As we are seeing some dissatisfaction among the social causes, which affects directly peoples of India. In same way, there are some political causes. The political causes means which affects the kingdoms of India, which affects the rule of India, which affects the administration of India, which provokes the Indians to create their own movement for the freedom struggle. So in the section of political causes, we shall discuss all these concepts in our next class. Thank you, Ananda.